How about we just stop saying shit that people can hold over our heads? How about we just stop being shitty people in private? Whatever I said. Expose it, or I know who I am behind closed doors. I know who I am talking to people. But like, I'm not mean, and I don't look at you gossiping like to someone you don't even know. I hear shit all the time. I hear so much shit, and I don't speak on it, even for people I don't personally like, including Gabby Hanna. I've heard horrific things about her. I've heard horrific things about David and his friend group, people I dislike. But guess what? I don't speak on that. I speak on stuff that I've gone through, that I've witnessed, not stuff I heard. Because then that's when you start perpetuating lies, rumors, and criminal offenses, which could be criminal unto itself. If you're just repeating, what is with no one ever taking accountability? How can people just not say fucking sorry? How about she says, I apologize, James. That was fucking wrong. Why do we need to put the blame? Why do we need the backstory of this? Because none of it fucking matters, because you're a grown fucking adult. I hear people gossip all the time in my fucking ear. And a grown person knows not to say shit that can ruin people's lives. You said Shane and Jeffree are jealous of James. They've had a career for fucking 20 years. I think it's okay. I think there's enough room for everybody.
Hey guys, it's Joy, and if you saw the title of this video, then you know that this is going to be one of my responses to Trisha Paytas calling me out directly on frenemies. I want you guys to know this was totally unexpected. I didn't realize this was gonna happen, but divine timing is a thing. So let me give you a little refresher for those that are new. Hi guys, my name is Joy, and I know you've heard some things with Trisha. Some of it's accurate, and then she has also lied quite a bit in this, or given a lot of misinformation or false statements. I will be clearing that up. But today's video, I want to focus on why I am not real happy with Trisha Paytas, because there are two reasons. In the frenemies episode, she says that I did 30 videos on her in a couple weeks. Well, I did about 30 videos, not just on her, but the situation surrounding Shane Dawson, jeffreestar. Most drama channels have covered this extensively, and I was no different. The difference is, in my coverage, I started to shift my perspective. And the reason I started to look at Trisha in a negative light was because I saw what she was doing, in my opinion, when it came to Shane Dawson, as bullying. What I'm going to say is going to challenge the popular narrative and popular opinion, but I'm okay with that. That's just part of what I do on this channel many times. And I've always been very supportive of Trisha Paytas with what happened to her by hairbyjay. That was awful, and she shouldn't have had to go through that. And my heart went out to her. My concern was, and my issue was, her bringing her 12-year friendship with Shane Dawson into this, when I looked at the evidence, that it obviously, to me, looked like miscommunication. She ended a friendship based off of texts. And then she decided to, and she continues to this day, to attack Shane, to the point where on her podcast, and I don't know if I'm gonna make a separate video about this or not, she literally says this is all proof that this shows without a doubt that Shane is feeding us information. And I do think it's really funny that anybody, including Trisha, thinks I'm important enough for Shane Dawson to reach out to. But I've done this on my own volition. Just because you challenge popular narrative doesn't mean somebody's paying you to do that. Or Shane and Jeffree owe me a lot of money. But I was concerned because what I felt I was seeing from Trisha is what she typically does. She weaponizes personal information against people, and then she will set out to destroy their lives. And that's what I felt she started to do with Shane. And I just feel, as mature adults, we should handle our issues with people that we care about or friends in private. And Trisha doesn't do that, because Trisha gets incentivized to make chaos on the internet. And as I started to dive into this, people started to send me more and more concerning information about Trisha. For instance, things about her and her fiance, that she was in a physical altercation, and even Klein said, you shouldn't punch him. There were certain things that came up that were very, very concerning. So when I saw some TikTok videos where Moses basically lets people know that Trisha has forced him sexually, I said, hey, this should be looked at, because if that is true, that is the definition of the RA and the P word. Not saying that that's what happened, but that's the definition of it. And I'm speculating because we know she has a history of being physically violent. But this video is not about that. That's an introduction, just so you guys understand with the videos I've done, why I've done them the way I did and the progression I've done them. I do find it interesting because this video was supposed to go up Saturday, and I felt I needed to stop my coverage of it, and I wanted to walk away. I said, okay, I think I'm done with this subject. I need to take some time for myself. And so I do think it's interesting because we have Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and this is Tuesday. So it was 4 days that I hadn't talked about it, had no plans to talk about it. I was done with it. And she seems to have stopped, this bullying behavior with Shane. So great. And then I find out she put me on frenemies, which is fine, right? And I understand I might get a lot of flack for what I'm saying. What I've learned about being on the internet and what I've specifically learned about my content is when I see through a lot of things, there's certain things I see through where I know that I'm right or I'm fairly accurate and to stay true to the course. I really don't care about the negative comments or the dislikes. People are going to get mad that I challenge popular opinion. But I want you guys to also understand Trisha did something personally to me. And I found this out towards the end or like towards the later half of my coverage when I was starting to see her real negative shift towards Shane. And I was questioning it because guys, real adults don't act this way when a friendship breaks down. And I know the position Shane is in. I have a feeling of how he feels and I feel for him. I know what it's like to have the internet and everybody bully you just because it's popular. And that's why sometimes it's not just rooting for the underdog. But what I wanted to say is we have this much evidence that anything even happened between Trisha and Shane. What happened was between hairbyjay and Trisha, and she dragged Shane into it. And then it's all about Shane because it's, in my opinion, popular narrative. And then she had her music videos that came out right around that time. Like it seemed a little coincidental. I know she releases music and I know she does other products, but the timing seems suspect. And she keeps talking about him and Shane has done the mature thing and, and said nothing. And Ryland's response, people, of course, they ripped it up, but I thought he was as polite as he could be. He had to address it because they talk about hot topics and to not would be disingenuous. But they did in the most polite way possible. And Trisha has done everything she can to be as horrible as she can to somebody that's a former friend over what to me looks like possible miscommunication over text messages when Shane said, come over. So here's what I found out. That now this is the introduction. Sorry, it's going to be a little longer than what I wanted. But when I first got on YouTube, it was in 2017. And in getting on YouTube, or it was like literally December 2016, right? I started really uploading in January 2017. And I did anti-Onision videos. Well, I don't know if it's like anti-Onision, but like I did videos where I was outing his behavior when he had those forums and young girls would post pictures of their body and he would rate them and then all the things he did. I saw through all that before it became trendy. I got a lot of crap for that, but I was right. So in this, he did a lot of bullying people for their bodies, including Trisha Paytas. And I made 2 or 3 really supportive videos of the fact that Trisha Paytas was bullied. Now, she might have left a comment on one of the videos back then. That channel I ended up deleting, so I don't remember. But I know that we had some positive interaction. And I knew she was very supportive of what I was doing with Onision. And I feel like she had said she was a fan or something. Like, I just don't fully remember. And I don't have, I wish I had all those receipts, but I just don't. And so it was very nice between us. And then she started following somebody called Mikenactor. Now, I have been talking for the last week or so on my channel about I will put up this information about what happened to me with Trisha, but I'm waiting for the right time because the person that was involved in this, I respect their friendship and their privacy more than I do talking about these things. And the person we're going to talk about, there are 2 people in this. One is Mikenactor. He has been a ride or die friend, and I am so grateful for him on this platform. I am so insanely grateful. Go check him out. If you don't know Mikenactor, go subscribe. And Mike has been, it was like day 2, I met him on YouTube, and he was really supportive of me. And we have been talking for the last 4 years? 4 years. On and off, even when I wasn't on YouTube. He is genuinely a good person, and it's so hard to find that. 95-ish or more percent of the people I've met on YouTube, the YouTubers, are horrible people. And you got to be careful with viewers because sometimes the viewers are addicted to drama and they want to get in there, stir stuff up. Not all. I love a lot of y'all. I'm just saying this is the truth on the type of stuff I do on the internet, right? So I was waiting for Mike's permission. And as Trisha started to out more more private information about Shane, Mike said go for it. But I held off. I held off on this. But now that I see I'm on frenemies, I feel like this is the right time. When it comes to Shane Dawson, Trisha Paytas has only done hearsay. Oh, Peter Monn says this, which Peter Monn has disability shamed me. He has shamed me for not being able to work a normal job, for being sick. He has done a lot of horrific things to a lot of people. Lied, not real credible. Or, oh, so-and-so said this. That's not fact. That's not fact. But what I have is actual fact that Trisha is a hypocrite and she set out to try to get in between and ruin my friendships and ruin my YouTube career. Now, here's what's interesting. It would be different if I didn't have facts. You're going to see facts in this video. You're going to see the evidence of it. I'm able to get it and piece it together from what happened to show you. We have a lot of stories. Like I heard a story from Shannon Rose who said the same thing. We've heard consistently for a while that this is a behavior with Trisha, but I hold myself to the same standard as Trisha. Evidence. But I actually have evidence. And what I'm going to show you is the evidence that as awful is Shane Dawson is, even though we have no evidence. And by the way, when I talk about this, I'm only referring to what Trisha has said about he talked badly about me. If you are upset with his past, especially if you are a minority, more power to you. I am not upset with you. I am not a minority. I cannot tell you how to feel, and I understand if you're upset. And I sympathize. I really, really do. I'm only referring to what Trisha has done to drag him into this situation lately. I find it disgusting. I find it bullying. I find it self-serving. And I found out I was nothing but kind, nothing but supportive. And Trisha not once, but twice tried to come after me and my YouTube career. To this day, I don't really understand why, except that we know Trisha has a pattern of this. We've heard this story, but now I have receipts that it's happened. And I think she does this because she's intimidated by other successful women. She's even said, and I don't remember where it is, but she has said, and I've seen the video and I've heard it, that she can only be friends with her mother and sister. She can't be friends with females because she has too many jealousy issues. And she talks repeatedly about her jealousy issues. Remember, guys, YouTube, although it's like the alternative media, is still the entertainment industry. And there are so many shady people. And what I've learned by my dealings on YouTube, people will try to just rip you up. They will do everything they can behind your back where you don't know to try to hurt you because they think you're going to take something away from them. So when Trisha says, I don't treat people like this, I'm nice, I don't gossip behind people's back, I don't try to ruin people, I want you to see here, this is 100% a lie because we have it not once but twice. Mike had forgotten to send me this stuff or tell me because it was early on in my friendship with him, and it was just recently where he was going through his DMs and saw it and was like, I need to tell you something. I could have come out with it sooner, but my friendship and my integrity with Mike is more important. And you know what? Mike has hurt my feelings a couple times on YouTube. And I have put him in crap for the things I've been through when he's defended me. And you know what? I didn't go out him. We didn't go have a public fight. We actually talked privately. We both cried. He apologized if he hurt me. I've apologized if I put him in any issues. And we worked it out like adults. And we are still friends to this day. And I'm so grateful for him. So, sorry, it's a bit of a long intro, but I needed to get some of that out there. And I will also be responding to Trisha's accusations. And you know, some of them, she's got some valid points. I'm not going to sit here and say that, but I do think it's interesting. And I think at this point, she's trying to intimidate me. And she also wants to shut me up, which is interesting because I have been quiet. And I even put out a video yesterday morning saying, hey, I'm going to change course. And, you know, I don't want to focus on this too much. I don't want to become a bully in outing Trisha as a bully. I don't want that behavior pattern, but I think Trisha actually wants people to talk about her. I think she likes her name. In fact, she has interviews where she has said that her job is to be dramatic and stir up drama. This is what she does. So here it is. So Trisha, I'm really curious where that evidence of Shane is, because here we have it of you, that you are not only a gossip, but you try to ruin people's careers. And one thing I do want to point out, people could say, yeah, but she was best friends with Shane. She doesn't know you. Right. But did she really have to try to ruin my career and get in between my friendships? If you didn't know me and I'd been nothing but nice to you, why did you do that in the most sneaky, manipulative way? Without further ado, here we go. Hi guys, it's Joy, and I have been teasing this and talking about it for a while, and I was finally given the permission and the go-ahead to fully talk about this. I'm going to be talking about today how Trisha Paytas tried to bully me and how she tried to make drama with my friends. And in my opinion, from what she did, she tried to be a part of running me off the internet and creating a lot of chaos for me. To this day, I don't know why she did it. This happened about, oh gosh, almost 4 years ago, 3 to 4 years ago. Hold on, my straightener. Look at this, it's bright pink. It matches my shirt. It's totally in the way and almost on my computer. So I have it plugged in and ready to go in case I need a touch up, because with this hair having so many issues with thinning hair and hair falling out from my diet, which I'll talk about in another video, and uneven hair and things. And also I can't get, because of COVID, I can't get an actual haircut to get it layered so I can control it. This wig, it's not really a wig, but this hair needs a lot of help. So I don't know why she did this. And this happened in 2017. Now I'm gonna go over all the receipts. I have all the receipts, and let me say up front, there are a couple reasons why I didn't put out this video to begin with. The first one, and this is like 20% of it, the minor reason, is timing. I think timing is key with everything. And I thought I want to make sure it's the right time before I put this out. The second thing ends up having to be that this wasn't just about me. Somebody else's privacy would be involved in this. And this is somebody I very much care about and who has been very kind to me, one of the few YouTubers who has. And if you guessed it, this has to do with Mikenactor. So I didn't find this out until maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. And if you guys remember, when I started covering Trisha, when I first came back to my channel, I was a really big proponent of her and her mental health. I was critical, but critical in the sense of saying, I don't think she's going to get her mental health on track until she gets the right people in her life, cuts out the negative people who are using her, and also makes better business and personal decisions about not letting herself be used or degraded or put down for money, because she famously says she admires Anna Nicole Smith, because on Anna Nicole's reality show, people would go up to Anna Nicole and say, don't you realize people are using you and making fun of you and taking advantage of you for money? And she go, well, as long as they're paying me. And Trisha said she aspired to be like that, which to me is frightening, because we all know how Anna Nicole ended up. Same thing with Marilyn Monroe. I like a lot of aspects of Marilyn Monroe, but it also does kind of scare me how many women idolize her considering how she ended up. But it more scares me in terms of like, I don't know, she was kind of talking to JFK. I think there might have been some real weird government stuff going on there. As we know, many times celebrities are people who leave the planet. That can happen. But I wanted to talk about this. Once I found out, I was furious. And the thing was, let me tell you a little bit about Mike. Mikenactor. If you don't know, go subscribe. He's got fantastic content, and I think he needs a much bigger audience. I've been saying this for a while. I was talking to you the other day. I'm like, I want to help you. I want to help you with your videos. I want to help you grow. And it's not his content's great, right? But there are some things on the back end people don't always know. And he does really well for himself. But I'm like, I want to see if we can take you the next level, because I love him as a person. He's one of the few people on YouTube that didn't sell me out or be mean to me because of all the crap that happened to me. He took a lot of crap for defending me. And we have continued to remain friends on and off for the last 4 years. Now, when I say that, it's not like we're besties talking every day. And you know how adult relationships are. Sometimes you have a friend you talk to like every day for a while, and sometimes you can go 2, 3, 4 months and not say a word and pick up right where you left off. And I kind of feel like that's how it is a little bit with Mike, right? So, and he's just been so supportive through my illness and through all kinds of things, and I'm really grateful for him. And so as this Trisha stuff came out, he told me, he's like, oh my God, I remembered something. I'm like, what? And he sent me a screenshot, which we're about to go over. Now, let me preface some of this, because I was figuring out the timing as you're going to hear me record, because I pre-recorded the text. Like, this happened almost 4 years ago, and I already have a horrible memory. So I was having to piece together some of this, but I have receipts for almost everything I'm talking about, which I'm really happy for. And the reason I didn't come forward was Mike said, well, I don't really want to put this out there and create drama and disrespect her privacy. But after how far she's gone with Shane, and then if you guys didn't see it, go check out my recent video, oh Lord, where in my opinion, she's accusing me and Mikenactor of working for Shane and being fed information by him, which is hilarious, because it's like, I would not be financially struggling and making 3 videos a day if I was on payroll. Or if I am on his payroll because he hired me and I didn't know, since I've never actually had a conversation with him aside from sharing like 2 comments in a comment section. Shane, Jeffree, Ryland, whoever else people want to throw in there, you're all late with your checks. I should be flush with Shane and Jeffree money. Where is it, honey? Where is it? So let me give you some of the timing of this. I came to YouTube in like late December of 2016. This is when I first like really appeared and talked about Onision. In talking about Onion, I did a lot of videos where I defended the people he bullied. He was constantly bullying people about their weight, about how they look. And one person he went after was Trisha Paytas. And I knew who she was. I didn't know a ton about her, but I would see him body shame her constantly. And I did maybe 2 or 3 videos where I stood up for her and that he was a bully. And she really liked it. And I guess that got her attention. And so from there, as you guys know, I ended up, the channel was growing about 10,000 subs a month. It was doing really well. And it took on a lot of controversial people and topics. And then in May of 2017, late-ish May, the Daddy 05 story broke and I was all over it. Now, I want to kind of preface this with a couple things. There was one instance where I knew Trisha wasn't very nice to me. And I talked about it. I'm like, I'll support her, even if she's not been very nice to me. That issue, I could, in my head, even though I didn't like it and I was upset by it, I could rationalize some of why it happened. I had a situation, and I've talked about this in length, where I had said some really sarcastic statements and silly statements that ended up having to do with race. I was really just being super sarcastic, but a lot of people didn't understand that. I think, and it ended up spreading and it went big, and then I was the world's biggest R word. And, you know, reflecting back, I understand people who didn't know me or know my humor. I see how they could have been offended. I also see how if I'm going to have a platform, I have to be careful with, because I'm somebody who jokes. I have so much dark humor. I'm a dark humor person. So I have to be careful with that, because to the wrong people, it can come across the wrong way. And I understood it could have upset people. I've apologized so many times, and I will always continue to apologize, because my goal is never to hurt anybody. That's not my goal, especially with comedy. I'm trying to giggle and uplift people. But you know, you have to take responsibility and see how you could come across or see where you have fault in something, right? So I've been through that process, and that was like 4 years ago. So what we're talking about, this was a while ago, right? So she had been upset over something when it came to that, which we'll get into. That I understood. But then when Mike told me about what she said, and I was like, Mike, why didn't you tell me sooner? He's like, honestly, I kind of forgot about it. And this was in the beginning of my YouTube career and Mike knowing me. Trisha tried to come between me and Mike and warn Mike not to have anything to do with me. I don't know why she did it. To this day, I don't know why she did it. Because at that point, I think, if I remember right, and I don't have evidence of this, but I think she might have like left a comment or something on one of my videos where she was really happy when I stood up to Onision. So I remember, I knew that she knew of me, and it was positive interaction on some level between us. I don't remember how, but with Mike, so the statement I had made, you know, the statement where people thought I was an R word, I think that was in July, late June, July, something like that. But this was in May. This was in May before any of that happened. And she warned Mike about me in a very manipulative way that still doesn't make sense. So let's go over this when it comes to Mike. I want you guys to see what the exchange was, because he's giving me my permission. You know, I don't know. I always feel like protecting the privacy of the people around me and the people that are good to me is way more important than some views and drama and attention. It's just how I operate. So let's go ahead and look at this. I'm going to break it down, and then I'm going to go over the other situation that she did too, where she tried to do things to ruin me, sabotage me, and get in between me and other people, which again, I'd only been kind and supportive. I don't know why. So let's take a look. Now, these are DMs between Trisha Paytas and, you ready for it? Mikenactor. That's the reason as I've said before, I really wanted to make sure and protect his privacy, because him being my friend and protecting his privacy and his comfort level in our friendship means way more to me than trying to out Trisha for her dirty tricks. So that's why it took me a while, but he was so fed up with Trisha seeming to call us out, so to speak. And I don't know if that video is up or yet. It should be, so go check that out if you haven't. I've probably already talked about it. He said, go ahead and do it. I've sat on this for about a week and a half. And again, my friendships and my integrity come first, and making sure my friends are okay. And so I said, I'm not going to do anything until you allow me to. But he put it on his channel, so he said, fair game. So here we go. So it says, this was from May 21st, 2017. So remember, this is before really any scandals or anything had really happened with me, or the controversy of the R word stuff. That happened later. So before anything was happening, she was trying to start stuff. She says, hey babe, I seriously love you and your videos so much. I normally would never write a message like this because I hate when people send me warnings, but it's not so much a warning as it is a be careful who you associate yourself with on YouTube thing. I learned the hard way. Associating myself with bad people costs me a lot on my own channel. Anywho, I've gotten some weird messages, some weird ASS messages. Reply, Joy Sparkle BS. I don't have anything against her. I used to watch her with the Onision vids because I cannot stand him. He's an actual psychotic. And then she lost me with the DO5 thing, but I just got some super troubling messages regarding her over a comment I had made forever ago on a vid she made about me. And she says, definitely, don't want to turn this into a drama or a feud or whatever, and I would never make vids about it, lol. But I just love you, and I saw your vid defending her, and I just don't want you to be caught up in some serious crap over defending her, you know? Lol, 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 lol. But again, you're an adult, and I hate when people just tell me what to do or who to talk to, so please don't take it like that. Regardless, forever a fan of you, and you are just as well-spoken person on YouTube. I swear, and funny in your accent. I mean, I could just go on and on. Always crushing on the dudes who will just never be into me. Ha 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 ha, joking. I love you to bits, and I wish we were BFFs. Thanks for getting me as well. I swear you're the only one with common sense on YouTube. And then he says, Trisha, you are a doll with such a big heart. It's so great to see you living your dreams. People don't give you enough credit for how clever you are. I've had some dark times in the last few years, and your vlogs really helped. Now, I don't know what was after that, and honestly, I didn't want to ask, and that's not my business. Whatever Mike feels comfortable to share or not share, that's his business, and I would never pressure him, but that's where we're at so far. Now, here's what I find really interesting. I think this message was insanely manipulative. She said, I said something that was concerning about her in one of my videos, but she wouldn't say what. And then she acts like I'm this dangerous figure that he should be super careful with. What did I say? She never said. And furthermore, after talking to Mike was like, in my conversations with her, this was something that, she would do. She would kind of fish for info, or it seemed like she was prodding for me to look into something and make a video. And luckily, Mike took what she said with a grain of salt. And Mike at the time, in talking to him, he's like, I didn't know you that well. I didn't know her that well, but I knew of her because they had been in each other's DMs and stuff. So she followed him on Twitter, and that's how this had happened. And so, he was just kind of like, I'm just going to keep this in my back pocket. And Mike to this day has said, out of everyone and all the stuff that's happened, I'm one of the few people that he can trust, that was trustworthy, because I'm a decent friend to people, or I try to be. So what I find interesting is she didn't specify what I said, and that's because it's a lie. And if Trisha's watching, I would love to know what I said, because if I said something that you can actually prove evidence for, I'd love to apologize. But all my videos had been very supportive of Onision bullying her for her body, to where she had said she was a fan. In fact, there are videos. I didn't pull it up here, but there are videos like with the vegan Sheeta, where she had said, well, who's your favorite drama channel? Do you like Joy Sparkle? So she had mentioned me a couple times in a positive way. But then behind the scenes, she's trying to get in between my friendships and say to people not to have anything to do with me. My question is, how many people did she do this with? Because if it was just a one-off, it would look weird. I wouldn't like it. I'd be uncomfortable. I'd understand. And I thought this was a one-off because she also did this with somebody else. But knowing that she did this with Mike before there was any scandal attached to me, and guys, this was before people made up conspiracy theories about me and the Daddy-O5 case, because that was a big thing. This was when it just started. Why was she trying to get in between me and Mike when I just started covering that? And then just as a personal note, her saying, she lost me with the Daddy-O5 stuff. Well, I mean, Trisha is very much in the Hollywood industry of human trafficking and doing mean things to kids. So not that I'm accusing her of anything, but I mean, on some level, being in the industry that long, it's like you've had to take in checks from people or work with people who are like that on some level. Even if not directly, you have supported that. That kind of thing pays you. Yeah, of course you're not going to be interested in human trafficking, Trisha. You are smack dab in the middle of the epicenter of it, loving all the attention you get while that's going on in the background from the people that pay your checks, in my opinion. So I thought that was interesting. But again, it happened again. So this one was between, and I don't really like bringing him up because he's been such a big source of negativity in my life, and I don't say that with shade. I know this person has a bunch of issues, and that's not even with shade, self-admitted stuff. I wish this person well. He's been through some tragedy. I really wish this person all the best. I just don't like to bring this person up very much. But there was a guy named Ron. He goes by a few names, Stay Negative, Negs. And there was a time where with the Daddy-O5 stuff, he stood up and defended me. And he got anybody who stood up and defended me got crap. They got crap or they got harassment or both. A lot of times it was both. It was crazy. And that happened to him. And so it was about a few weeks later in June, Ron comes to me to let me know he's talking to Trisha and that she's not real happy with me. And then you'll see what ensues. So it goes from June and then we switch to July, where then she's outright attacking Ron, saying he needs to attack me, drag me, disavow all of these different things. And she also did it publicly. It's insanely manipulative. I want you guys to check it out for yourself. Now, these are the emails I still have saved from some of my conversations on Twitter, which I am extremely excited that I found these. I didn't realize that you get emails from some of your DMs. So you can see in this, first of all, I wanted to make sure it was very transparent so you can see that this is from Negs, and that's who Ron Stay Negative is. I'm not sure. Sometimes he kind of changes his name around. I'm not sure what he's going by right now. And this was, and you can see this was to me, joysparklebs at Gmail, and Samuel L. Joyces. Like, I just came up with a lot of silly names on Twitter. I'm sure that was one that floated around somewhere. In fact, if somebody really wanted to dig, you could probably find June 11th and what my Twitter handle was. And it says subject, Negs, who at the time was at Mr. On the Border. I don't think he is now. I think that was taken down. And it says, has sent you a direct message on Twitter. And so just so you can see, and so you see June 11, 2017, 3:23 p.m. And then at the top right corner, you can also see the date. So I did that to be as completely transparent with this as possible. And it says, I became friends with Trisha Paytas, LOL. I've caught much HELL. Now we move on, and this one is July 24th. So we go from June 11th to July 24th. So that's when he started talking to Trisha. And so then we go on, and he says, LOL, yes, stressed, had to cut ties with close friends over them being drama mongers. Then says, then Trisha Paytas has chewed me out for not dragging you as the R word. Sigh. I stood my ground with her, so we shall see what conjures up. She was in a live chat. That's what that means, live chat, and I'll explain that a little further. I wouldn't let anyone on because everyone had an agenda. Sai was in the stream the entire time. Sai used to be one of my moderating assistants. She was awesome when it came to moderating, and I'm so glad that I had her back then. And by the way, you can see the times on this. So you can see the progression of this. And it says, she was in the chat. That's Trisha. I spent the better part of 20 minutes telling her why I didn't think you were inherently the R word. Trisha is not a deep objective thinker. And it's time she turned on me too. So LOL, I was warned she would. Because again, guys, people are in the YouTube community who know about her are aware of her patterns and behaviors behind the scenes, especially with other creators. And he says, nah, I made a video not dragging you as the R word and people are mad. It happens. I made a video. Sai was in the chat. I spent 20 minutes mansplaining to Trisha, LOL. And that's a joke, guys. It's supposed to be a joke. I asked her to come on my channel and me and you, we could all talk about it. And by the way, didn't want to do it. Didn't want to actually confront me with this. Wanted to make drama behind the scenes. He says, I had to clarify, I told you personally that Trisha had an issue because someone would have anyway because the internet. She showed me the message, just making sure she understands. I didn't show the chat because, well, I don't screenshot it, LOL, period. But I knew Sai or somebody would tell you. So instead of getting it twisted, I told you myself. Boy, she's mad, LOL, anyway. Put a bullet in it. Please don't make a video or whatever. So this was him saying, she's in my live chat. She was really angry about this, saying I needed to drag you and was going off. I tried to have you both come on to make peace. She wanted no part of it and was asking me please not to say anything or further the situation because Trisha's now being very mean to him. So he goes on to say, I'm being accused of being a R word and a drama monger. I was just doing everyone a favor and not letting people expose it first. It was a public chat. What doesn't she understand about that? 200 people saw the exchange. So she then, what he's saying is in private, and because you can't see my end of it, you can only see what he sent me. But from what I remember, he was saying in private conversations and publicly, she was really mad at him and saying, oh, you're going to go tell her. And it's like, well, no, she's mad that I found out. And that's the thing. I believe during this time when Ron, so when Neg, Stay Negative, when he reached out to me and told me, I wrote her and I'm like, hey, if you have an issue, like come talk to me woman to woman. What's the deal? I'll see if I have those tweets and if I can find those between me and her. And when she found out I knew, she was angry at him. Like, how dare you tell her? When she did this, not just privately, but she was on one of his streams publicly saying that, he should this, and this with me from what I remember. And he says, 200 people saw this chat. Why is she mad at me about it? You said, if I need anything, just to let you know, just let this go. LOL, that's all. She's irrational right now and has alienated me too. I didn't see the harm in telling you about a public exchange, considering it was public. I'd not messaged her, not to mention it. If someone brings it up outside of me, I can't help that. But based on my info, I just leave it be. She is mad because she feels I ran to you to start drama, even though she's doing this publicly. Doesn't make any sense. And by the way, like, you know, she says, oh, I'm an open book. I don't talk behind people's back. I don't do all this. Well, then why is she doing this stuff? And he says, I'm an R word because I didn't find your joke inherently R wordish. I was told she'd turn on me. She did in the chat. And after you messaged her, she flipped out. There we go. So I'm pretty sure I messaged her around the same time this was going on. He says, she thought I screen shared the chat. I did not. I told her to avoid confusion. He says, I told her that I told you to avoid confusion. Honestly, I thought it was funny. She accused me of R-wordism because I didn't drag you to, you know, off the planet. It's nonstop, LOL. My friends were doing the same thing to me, baiting me in and cutting me loose. Yeah, I didn't share anything with you, LOL. I told you about a public exchange. Lord, I hate people. It's in the last 30 to 40 minutes, the bit with her. I spent a good amount of time addressing it logically, and Sai heard it all. So, by my logic, Sai would have told you anyway. So I did first, or at least I thought first. I figured if I told you as Trisha's friend, you'd be a bit restrained on a response. She's looking to turn on me. It was inevitable. I've gotten nothing but hate for talking to her. Her angle is, why did you drag her for, why did he drag Trisha for having lipo, but not me for my joke? I roasted you, LOL, as a friend would, and I quit roasting people for eating on film and crap. I've given up a lot, and my channel has suffered. Why did I drag her and not you? I was respectful to her. Why she called me names. It was sad, honestly, but why? I'm nobody. I'm a poor 40-year-old guy in Indiana raising his child alone. What's her hang up on me? I don't get it. I try to keep this all in an entertainment aspect too. If it is public, it will be fair game. So I thought, Trisha, dang it. And then he says towards the end, last 30 or 40 minutes, talking about this video. And then he sends me the video. Now, if you go to that link, which you're more than welcome to, it looks like he's had that private. So that's outside of me because that's not on my channel, but that is what he sent me. And you can see that. You can actually go and see that. I don't think it'll show you who it's from or anything. It just says privated, but you can see he sent me that link. So a video did exist. She comes in at the 2-hour mark, I think. I may not read the chat out loud, and you can see I handled her with kid gloves too. And then we're going to just bounce to August 16th, 2017. It says, I'm trying to figure it out. Like Trisha gets hate. I get it to a point, but she's a troll too. And I get that you get, and he says, I get that hate you get. He says, HELL. I'm like you in a lot of ways, and I get some weird pass. People don't confront me. They will berate somebody like you for the same stuff that I do. It's so weird. Is it a female-male thing? Like, women give me a pass, but won't you because you're a female. Now, Trisha was successful with Ron because what ended up happening was he ended up between Trisha Paytas and then somebody who's not very nice to me putting out a video that was horrible on me. He realized if he jumped ship away from me, he could turn on me and get a bunch of attention, which is what he did. And he became, at that point, one of the worst people to me. He, at one point on a live stream, gave, in my opinion, a really half-hearted apology to me. And that's fine. I don't know if I believe it necessarily or not. If it's true, that's great. If not, I've moved on. Ron was somebody like a lot of people back then. I shouted out. I sent him subs my way. I tried to help him as much as possible because I was the bigger channel. And of course, like most people, that he completely turned on me. So Trisha was very successful in her endeavor with that and just created a huge harassment and hate campaign. Ron went on to help coin the term fibromyalgia, which I don't like talking about, but that's when I was in the process of being tested to figure it out. I got a phone call that said that it looks like I have something within the lupus, or what is it, scleroderma or Sjogren's family. And they wanted me to get tested because they were very concerned. And I didn't end up having it, but I remember the call. They were really pressing about it. And I was very scared. So I went on a live stream, freaked out of my mind about what I was hearing. And I talked about it and cried. And I got so much crap for it because people thought I was, they thought I was doing that to get attention. I really didn't have enough support in my life, and I was losing my mind and really didn't realize how to use social media. That's really what it was. I was just so sick, and I was so insanely scared. I was very, very scared. And people took those moments that I should have dealt with in private, but I wasn't in my right mind to know how to do that. And at that moment, I didn't have anybody to call. Everybody was busy. So I got on live, which is something I did often back then. I think that's another reason I don't stream very often. And he was one of the people that, he took the fact that I was insanely sick and he made t-shirts and he made a ton of money off of making fun of me being sick and saying it's not real, it's all for attention. And it wasn't. And that was incredibly hurtful. So to Trisha, thank you, girl, for helping, create one of the most traumatic situations I've been through when it came to YouTube. Watching people, not only not believe me and make fun of me and profit off of me being sick, but then again, Trisha is not somebody, I lost her with my Daddy 05 coverage. I lost her trying to help child abuse. It's Trisha. To me, it makes sense. So, now let me say what I think is very interesting too. I want to show you guys the timing of how a lot of this went down. So remember, she had been following, because Mike had done some videos about her. She'd been following Mike and DMing Mike, not a ton of DMs. And from what Mike has said, she only DM'd if it was like something to benefit her. If she had something to gain from it. It wasn't like a friendly thing. But I want to show you guys some of the context of this stuff so you can understand the timing and why the timing looks really suspicious on how this happened. Let's look. So I want to remind you guys, if you look, you see this is the Twitter. I have the email from Twitter, and this was on June 11th. The first time that I remember I heard from Ron saying, I became friends with Trisha Paytas. LOL, I've caught so much HELL for that. Now look at this. This is very interesting. Look at the date that Trisha Paytas liked one of my tweets and started following me. You guys see that? What is that? June 11th. Huh. Kind of interesting. The same day that Ron says I've become friends with Trisha Paytas, when Ron had been actively defending me and people knew that, Trisha decided to follow me in DMs and she decided to like my tweet, which is very, very interesting. And let's look at the timing. The timing's just really weird. So he says, and this was at 3:23 p.m. June 11th. It says he became friends with Trisha. And then the tweet that I got that she liked, it had Ron in there, and it also had Copper Cab, because I was streaming with him at the time. And that was done at 9:28 p.m. 9:35, she goes ahead and follows me. And then she likes another tweet of mine on June 15th. But the DMs from Mike, if you look, those happened May 21st. So it wasn't even a month later. So about 3 weeks after she said those things about me to Mike, with nothing, no scandal, no anything warranted, 3 weeks later, she's befriending somebody she knows defends me, at the same time following me and talking crap about me to him. And I don't understand. What did I do but stand up for her in the fact that she was bullied? Well, I'm trying to find the clip. Sound off in the comments if you have it. Trisha, so the rumor is, what I've heard is Trisha has said on a podcast, it was either a podcast or a video, that she doesn't have female friends. She can't really have female friends. The only female friends she has is her mom and her sister. And if that is true, and I haven't seen it, so sound off if you have that clip, then I guess it would explain this is just Trisha's petty mean girl behavior. I hope you guys can understand why I take with a very big grain of salt and a ton of water not to get dehydrated, why when Trisha says Shane and Ryland and Jeffree are mean girls, why I don't believe that. I defended her. I stood up for her. I did videos supporting her and her achievements. I was so supportive of her as a businesswoman. I don't think I ever said a negative word about her. Ever. So, and she didn't even give any evidence or info. Well, I heard from somebody. She literally sent Mike unsubstantiated gossip. I think she just made up lies to try to put a wedge between me and Mike. Why? Is it because her popularity on YouTube at the time, and YouTube was throttling people, was starting to wane because she was getting throttled? Is it that YouTube liked my content and pushed it super heavy? Was she jealous because she saw a female, an empowered female on the platform, rising up and using her voice in a positive way? Could that have taken something away from her? This is speculation. I don't know. I don't know what I did to her. But realizing that in covering the situation with Shane and Jeffree, this is one of the big things that changed a lot of my perspective when I was like, Here she's screaming about mean girl behavior while we're catching her going back and forth in lies about it. And she literally was a mean girl to me for no reason. I don't understand it. I don't get it. And I would have said something sooner. It's just that to me, my friendships, the people I love, that comes before any dumb internet stuff or the cattiness of somebody like Trisha Paytas. So if Trisha is watching, and I'm one of those YouTubers, I don't assume everybody's watching everything I do. With this though, I would assume Trisha's probably watching this because of what I've seen from her behavior with her trying to, under the bus, shade me and Mike. Trisha, I don't know why you felt to act that way. But I hope you understand that I'm sure I'm not the only person you've done this to, and more people will come out of the woodwork at some point and talk about the shady behaviors that we actually have receipts for that you've done. You can't just say Shane did this with no receipts and we're supposed to believe you. When I have receipts of your toxic behavior, trying to bully me, get in between my friendships, have people harass me and bully me off the platform. You were a part of a ton of people who decided to jump on a hate train on somebody who was barely surviving with their health. Good job. And I'm really glad that you didn't really care about the Daddy 05 situation because, hey, the people who actually do the child abuse you've been taking checks from a really long time. Trisha, I wish you well. I really do. I hope that one day you can stop. In my opinion, I feel like you weaponize your mental illness against people so you can continue to make chaos and get paid from it. I hope that you actually take the steps to become a better person and to put better situations and solutions in place so you stop being chaotic. But then again, if you did that, you wouldn't be getting paid. I hope that you find the confidence in yourself to be the creator that you can be on this platform without having to try to ruin other people's friendships or careers for no reason other than the fact that you are insecure about yourself. I really wish you well. I hope your marriage goes well. I hope the podcast goes well. Unlike what you did to me, I wish you success. But because of what I've seen you do to me, what I've seen you do to Shane, and the recent little call out you've done, in my opinion, to me and Mike, if I see something, I'm going to speak up. Because you know what I don't like? I don't like bullies. This is why I didn't like Onision. This is why I spoke about his behaviors, his predatory behaviors towards children. This is why I speak about bullying. And this is why I've made some videos on you recently that aren't necessarily as flattering. I'm trying to still be as fair as possible, guys, when I look at this. But you got to understand, when I know how she operates and I hear her crying, ooh, mean girls, that's why I call BS. Trisha, you are the mean girl. And I'm not saying other people aren't. But I think you shouldn't throw stones in glass houses, girl. If you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up. Like the video, also subscribe, hit notifications if you want to see more content like this. Sound off in the comments. What do you think? I'm curious. I can't wait for people to go, oh, who cares? Trisha doesn't like you. Shut up. Oh, wow. And it's like, okay, then she needs to shut up about Jeffree and Shane. Same goes for her. There aren't a special set of rules for Trisha than everybody else. This is one thing that drove me nuts about Onision. And when I debated him, go check out my debates. They're hilarious. I told him, I'm like, there's not one set of rules for you and not everybody else. It's not like you are higher or above other people. No. And that's how I feel. Also, guys, unless this evolves, I never meant to make this many videos on this situation, so I will be shifting gears. In fact, I'm very excited the Britney Spears documentary is coming out. Britney is somebody I want to talk about, I'm very passionate about, because I believe that she is really stuck. I feel like she is just stuck and she is enslaved in her situation, and I'm very passionate about talking about it. And I'll have more on this. And unfortunately, I'm going to make a little prediction. I don't know if it's right. I think these videos I recently did calling out some of Trisha's behaviors, I think they're going to age well. Because Trisha never stops her destructive patterns, and as a result, I don't see things ending for her well, but why would they? She gets paid to do this. She gets incentivized, and she has said she will sell almost anything about herself or other people to get paid or keep her at her status, which I don't know. I wouldn't want to live that way. That's why I've been happy to take years off the internet if I needed to for my physical, mental, emotional health, if I was able to. So also, like I said, I'm going to be ending these videos soon. I will finish out the weekend because I have some pre-recorded stuff with some more stuff, some more interesting finds. If you have interesting Trisha information, share it. I wish her no ill will. I wish her nothing negative. Don't go and harass her. Don't be mean to her. That's not what I want. But I do think we should call out bullying behavior when we see it. And Trisha, you can't bully Shane like this with no evidence and say everybody else is a mean girl when guess who you are. All right, guys, take care. Blessings. Lots of love to the next video. Giving everybody hugs. Mwah. Everybody kisses. Stay safe. Focus on your health. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.
How about we just stop saying shit that people can hold over our heads? How about we just stop being shitty people in private? Whatever I said. Expose it, or I know who I am behind closed doors. I know who I am talking to people. But like, I'm not mean, and I don't look at you gossiping like to someone you don't even know. I hear shit all the time. I hear so much shit, and I don't speak on it, even for people I don't personally like, including Gabby Hanna. I've heard horrific things about her. I've heard horrific things about David and his friend group, people I dislike. But guess what? I don't speak on that. I speak on stuff that I've gone through, that I've witnessed, not stuff I heard. Because then that's when you start perpetuating lies, rumors, and criminal offenses, which could be criminal unto itself. If you're just repeating, what is with no one ever taking accountability? How can people just not say fucking sorry? How about she says, I apologize, James. That was fucking wrong. Why do we need to put the blame? Why do we need the backstory of this? Because none of it fucking matters, because you're a grown fucking adult. I hear people gossiping all the time in my fucking ear. And a grown person knows not to say shit that can ruin people's lives. You said Shane and Jeffree are jealous of James. They've had a career for fucking 20 years. I think it's okay. I think there's enough room for everybody.